Good morning, family. I hope all is well on this Monday. So, getting right into the series, um, the name of this series is The Coming of New Perspective. However, the new perspective have been found. We've discussed different perspectives over the past 2 weeks. This week, which I am extremely excited about, is discussing characteristics. Okay, because me personally, I know I have some character flaws that need to be replaced. All right, and we're going to discuss 12 characteristics that's going to replace our character flaws. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so character development, Christ likeness is the goal. When we develop Christ likeness characteristics, we reflect Him. As representatives, we represent Him who sent us. Representation is key because if we're being presented on Christ's behalf, what are we presenting to others? The characteristics we display should be a mirror of who we're representing. Let's talk characteristics of Christ. Okay, so we have 12 characteristics of Christ that we're going to discuss this week. We're going to break them up into threes. So we're going to cover the characteristics Monday through Thursday. All right. So the first characteristic of Christ is humble service. And this is out of John chapter 13, 1 through 5. Jesus washes his disciples' feet. It was just before the Passover festival. Jesus knew that the hour had come for him to leave this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. The evening meal was in progress, and the devil had already prompted Jesus, the son of Simon Iscariot, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew that the Father had put all things under his power and that he had come from God and was returning to God. So he got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his waist. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that was wrapped around him. Humble service. So, metaphorically, are you willing to wash others' feet? Are you washing? Have you washed others' feet? So that take a great deal of humility, all right? Being humble, not feeling like we above someone else or we too good for this or that. Here it is, the Son of God. He stooped low. He got real low, and he washed his disciples' feet. You would think, if anything, his disciples should be washing his feet. All right, and that's kind of what Peter started to go on to speak about or whatever, and so on and so forth. So, are you willing to humble yourself to a place of humility where you're willing to serve someone else, because the purpose that we were created to live, it requires humble service. We have to be willing to serve first, but in this day and age we want to receive, we want to be served, and it does not work that way. So the second characteristic of Christ is holiness. First Peter chapter 1, 15 through 16. Actually, we're going to start at verse 13 because we have to cover that part. Be holy. Um, Therefore, with minds that are alert and fully sober, set your hope on the grace to be brought to you when Jesus Christ is revealed at his coming. As obedient children, do not conform to the evil desires you had when you lived in ignorance. But just as he who called you is holy, so be holy in all you do, for it is written, be holy, because I am holy. Now, what God spoke to me this morning was, um, when I'm in the public eye, I'm very conscious and aware of my speech and my actions. But for some reason, when I come home, that switch goes off and my subconscious kick in. And when my subconscious kick in, it takes over and my character flaws begin to seep out. And it's because I've allowed my subconscious to take control. Always be conscious. That's the way you're gonna remain control and not let your subconscious kick in and take control. All right. So the third characteristic of Christ is righteousness. First John chapter 3 through 7. I'm sorry, chapter 3, 7 through 10. Dear children, do not let anyone lead you astray. The one who does what is right is righteous, just as he is righteous. The one who does what is sinful is of the devil, because the devil has been sinning from the beginning. The reason the Son of God appeared was to destroy the devil's work. No one who is born of God will continue to sin because God's seed remains in them. They cannot go on sinning because they have been born of God. This is how we know who the children of God are and who the children of the devil are. Anyone who does not do what is right is not God's child, nor is anyone who does not love their brother and sisters. All right, so those are the 3 of the 12 characteristics of Christ that we must. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Those are the 3. Those are 3 of the 12 characters that we're going to discuss. That goes on while we're in the process, the trials, the testing of the faith, the persevering, and letting perseverance finish its work, so we may be mature, Christ likeness, complete, not lacking anything. That's the character development process that has to take place, because we must have Christ's characteristics in order to carry out the purpose which why we were created. So embrace the trials, allow God to do what he's trying to do in us so he can further do what he's trying to do through us. You guys have a great day. Much love.